Welcome to Neural Network News. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Today's February 22nd. We had another full week of developments happening in this space that we're excited to cover with you guys.
Oh, yeah. It was a busy week again. On today's episode, we'll touch base a little bit on the talks between X and Midjourney for a potential partnership.
Oh, that's interesting. And also in the Elon space, patient zero with Neuralink, Patient Zero with Neuralink has made a full recovery, and so we're going to cover what they're able to do now with just their mind.
Oh, geez. Large language models are 2023 buzzwords. This year, it's going to be about general world models, or GWMs, as if you didn't need another acronym. What do you need to know?
Google's Gemini update. Google has temporarily suspended the ability of its generative AI suite Gemini to generate images of people due to historical inaccuracies, with plans to update the technology for improvements.
Google, what are you doing? Groq, with a Q, is an AI chip company, not to be confused with, Musk's Groq, claims to be a faster AI chip, more than NVIDIA. So how is this possible? We'll take a deep dive on that.
Very cool. All right. So also in AI, AI is in new material discovery. So a startup led by former DeepMind, of course, is from Google, senior researcher, is leveraging generative AI technology to support new physical materials manufacturing. So we're on the cusp of discovering new materials with the help of AI. This is super exciting, and this is some of the wonders that this technology can lead to, in my opinion. But we'll do a bit deeper dive on that as well. Yeah,
we talk about a little bit Terminator from time to time. There is a movie, the full-length feature film AI, that's a spoof on T2, so we'll touch on that. And so thanks so much for joining us. What you got for drinking today?
Let's see. So today I am really excited. This is one of my favorite beers. This is Karl Strauss, which is a San Diego brewery. This is their Red Trolley Ale. It's a delicious full body ale. It's one of my favorite beers. When I think of beer, I truly think of an amber beer that tastes very similar to this beer for some reason. To me, beer means amber. To me, it's my personal taste. But this is in my opinion, a very awesome representative for ambers. Again, Karl Strauss, San Diego. Awesome, delicious, 5.8% alcohol by value.
5.8. That's a solid beer right there.
Yes.
All right, let's crack it open.
Cheers. All right. Let's
Cheers.
Do it.
Yeah.
Episode number 5. February 22. Let's go.
Yeah, that is a nice amber.
And now I have a jacket.
And now you have a jacket. So it is a little cold in here. I get it. Starting off with some of the headlines this week: Midjourney and X's partnership. So Elon Musk had hinted at a possible partnership between X and the popular AI image generator Midjourney, who does the pictures, which we posted before. They really want to transform the user experience on the social media platform, and I know that they have their own kind of AI system. Elon quoted, "We are in some interesting discussions with Midjourney," and
we are in some interesting discussions with Midjourney, and something may come of that. But either way, one way or another, we will enable AI art generation on the X platform.
It was okay. Yeah, they're in partnership. There isn't anything that's come out of it in necessarily a full, this is what we're doing. So it was just something that touch on it. But yeah, Midjourney is a big AI player in the
image
side of things,
and of course because of Sora, things are stepped up now with video.
Yeah, and X, I mean, they have such a huge database, a social network, so if Midjourney can tap into that database, that would be good too for them.
Yeah, Midjourney, and even the Midjourney was part of Elon's Groq with a K, it'd probably be a good product, comparable to ChatGPT's what they're doing now.
Yeah, and the seems with this week, it was a very apparent that people are starting to pair up.
Yes.
All the companies,
especially after ChatGPT is looking for all that funding for their own chip, right?
And I'll just touch on this now since it's a little bit of the same discussion, is Reddit and Google are partnering up to train AI models. So last week we found out Reddit signed a $60 million deal granting access to its user content for AI model training to an unknown company. We now know this week that it is Google. So some thoughts on this. Social media platforms are gold mines of data AI training models. So while Meta and X have their own ambitions, and in this instance, X may have Midjourney with partnership in that regard. This is one that Google is working on, and so it's just interesting to see these pairing up of social media networks and databases and the AI systems.
Also, Reddit is about to go public, right? They're announcing their IPO.
Yeah. So next month they're going to be doing their IPO. There's no date yet, but that is a huge, the next big one everybody's talking about. So interesting to see some of those things. Kind of people starting to come up with partnerships. It'll continue. Consolidation will occur. A lot of different companies, small startups are making some headway. You are certainly going to be on the list for a lot of these larger companies to swallow up.
Elon Musk announced February 20th that the first human implanted with Neuralink's brain chip has made a full recovery. The patient is able to control a mouse using only their thoughts.
Oh, wow.
Let me jump into this story real quick. I wanted to cover a couple of things. So Elon said progress is good, and the patient seems to have made a full recovery with no ill effects. So progress is good, and the patient seems to have a full recovery with no ill effects that we're aware of. Patient is able to move a mouse around the screen just by thinking. How the chip is implanted, they're using a robot to surgically place that brain-computer interface implant in a region of the brain that controls the intention to move. Neuralink said that adding the initial goal is to enable people to control a computer cursor or keyboard using their thoughts. So they've accomplished that, looks like, successfully this week, Monday. Okay,
so this is the video that they released of just the demonstration with them being able to control just by their thoughts of their phone, either looking at
so this is exactly how it actually looks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So the person with the brain chip just typed that in, sort of, right?
Yeah. So if you're living with spinal cord injuries, you may qualify for something like this, which is phenomenal too. That yeah, so
they can be a patient with Neuralink.
Yeah, if you have if you know somebody with this, certainly you can register as a patient for this trial.
That's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Wow.
We are jumping ahead of our future way faster than I thought.
We are so in the future now.
Every week it's something new, which is exciting and scary for some people.
And of course, what you and I discussed earlier, kind of thrown out ideas. Okay, maybe it was in my previous notes. Okay, but we basically talked about the fact that you'll be able to have Neuralink plug into your Xbox or PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
and play a video game without.
One day we will have the ability.
No, you don't need the Apple Pro device. You don't need any kind of optic device. It's just going to wire into your optic nerve. You'll be able to see the images somewhere projected in your mind's eye, let's say, right?
Yeah. Hey.
Wow.
I mean,
and you'll be able to control whatever you're controlling right
your brain is like a muscle. The more you train it, maybe it'll get fatter.
Your brain thinks run fast, run faster, go left, look left, shoot right, or whatever,
more solid connections.
Yeah, and eventually that bandwidth question will be solved. Right? Today it's only cursor movement.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it's
our hand-eye coordination may go away.
Tomorrow we're totally plugged in into some kind of digital world.
Yeah. Next year.
Right, next year.
All right. General world models. So,
what is a general world model? Because it's a new term that we're covering.
So, a general world model is basically an internal representation of the environment and the world as it is from video, photos, varying data sets. Mm-hmm. So, it has a lot of data sets that it's not just a language model.
What does this all mean? It means that pretty soon, general world models will allow us to simulate worlds that more closely reflect our own.
So,
for example, gravity, right? Gravity has its own parameters in that video environment, let's call it.
Right, and so as humans, we all have our senses, different senses. Now we're opening it up to all the different things, and that's kind of, we've talked a little bit about it, is AGI, artificial general intelligence of understanding the world as it is, like gravity or cause and effect. If something happens, it's not just a prediction of the language or the words that's going to happen next, or maybe an image. It's now taking in all the data and making a general conclusion or a predictive conclusion. So they're utilizing a transformer architecture for space-time patches of video and image latent code. Transformer architecture is kind of what all the LLMs are running on. Transformer architecture is kind of the new thing.
Transformer language models are language calculators. So everything has to become numbers, and then those numbers, through calculations and multiplications, become other. You give words, it predicts the next word, and it gives you something coherent based on the statistics of the text that it was trained on.
So space-time patches is allowing the model to understand where in space and where in time a specific picture or image or video occurs.
So really, space-time patches is a fancy way to say breaking down a video into smaller pieces to learn how things move. But technically, computers don't really understand how things move. What they're really doing is learning to predict animation. And here, what they're really doing is learning to predict change in color across frames. And to continue, change in color can be represented by change in color pixels. And each pixel can be represented by numbers. And computers love numbers.
So, essentially with Sora, there's this thing called diffusion. It's a very fuzzy, grainy pixel picture, and then it comes into focus what the text was.
Or as if, let's say, a car is moving faster, right? The pixels that are on the left and the right, they're kind of smeared versus what you had in the head. If you're driving ahead, it's all focused.
Yeah. And DALL-E, in the original DALL-E, you could see that's how it came to being. It was pixelated, and then it came to the actual picture. So AI's physics is basically understanding what it is. It's putting everything into numbers, and then what it does is it creates a probability of what the next pixel is going to be. It predicts the colors through a grid. And so it's not necessarily understanding physics, it's representing physics in
based on parameters.
Based on parameters and probabilities. So it's not like it knows, it doesn't understand physics in the way that we do. It just knows.
It doesn't have a physical experience of it.
Right.
And it doesn't have any kind of experience. It has actually zero experience with anything.
Right. So if
all it does, it's a set of parameters. Hey, and if it messes up, we clearly see it in those images. We're going to go over that later today.
Yeah.
When it messes up the gravity rules.
Yeah, gravity rules.
And the things that we take for granted just for existing in the physical world.
Right. You bounce a ball, it should bounce up. In a lot of the videos, sometimes it does not always bounce. Sometimes it disappears, goes through things.
Goes through to the next thing.
Yeah. So it doesn't understand the real world in that regard. So these general world models are understanding what the world is to a much bigger degree. But,
Very cool. All right. So let's talk about Groq, an AI chip company. So Groq creates AI chips called language processing units. So what they are, they're roughly $20,000 chips that are a lot more efficient than current NVIDIA GPUs and NVIDIA chips. You can experience it for yourself by going to Groq, Groq, not to be confused with Twitter's or Elon's Grok. This is Groq. From what we learned today, it's running on these chips that this company has created, and they're allowing different language models to run. That looks currently what we have available.
Which one is
Llama and
Llama?
Mistral.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's extremely fast. If you play around with it, you'll see it's a lot faster the response that we're getting from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
From ChatGPT speed, it's just almost right there. Groq produces 247 tokens per second compared to Microsoft 18 tokens per second according to them.
It's Copilot.
So if ChatGPT was running on Groq's chips, according to them, it'll run 13 times faster.
Oh, wow. That's super fast.
That is super fast and super impressive.
Yeah. And we played a little bit around on this. So if you can go to their website and play around with it, it's free. It doesn't cost anything. You don't even have to sign up. And it's lightning fast. It is much quicker than ChatGPT, what you've ever worked on, or Copilot through Microsoft. Groq has access to Llama, which is an open source by Meta. So that is the system that it's trained on, the LLM. It's not, so those systems are running on these chips a lot faster.
Right. So this is Llama's large language model AI model is running on this chip, and also they have Mixtral, which is made by Mixtral, from what I gathered.
Yep, they're a separate startup. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is that just because it's faster doesn't mean it's better. So it's still going to give you the same answers, vague answers. If you put in a vague question, it's not going to blow your mind with quantum mechanics or something.
Here's what I didn't know. Groq was founded around the same time as OpenAI, 2016.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, OpenAI was 2015, 2016.
Osmium AI?
Osmium AI, led by an ex-Googler and backed by Y Combinator, enables industrial customers to predict physical properties of new materials, and then refine and optimize those new materials leveraging AI. So, several academic papers over the past decade propose ways of speeding up material design workflows through AI in tandem with vast databases of molecules. DeepMind themselves is investing in AI originated materials last year, announcing that it devises an algorithm to discover millions of crystals that could someday power commercial technologies. So battery technologies could be produced out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was
chemical properties. A lot of, I'm sure they're looking at this as a dollar sign with patents. The first one to some of these new materials with patents, you are in.
Or if they're able to produce some kind of a material that could be used, say, in batteries, but they're able to make them extremely efficient. All of a sudden, all of our devices, cars and everything, computers, phones, everything, will become a whole lot efficient.
Yeah.
This could even more so propel all this tech so much forward.
We're sending you back to the future.
So, today, Google released Gemma. It's an open source model designed for responsible AI development. It's something that was released, and I feel like it was released ahead of it actually being done. It's the sentiment of, screw it, we'll do it live.
It didn't even get that right. That's a fail. That is not true. Okay, that's a fail. That is a complete fail.
But the reason they're doing it is because they have to compete with each other. The reason ChatGPT is making it a wide release because they want to find where it messes up so they can fix it quickly so they can make the software or the product better.
Right.
So I think that's their motivation. Let's release it quickly, and it's look like the name of the game is let's give it to everybody and let's find the mistakes real quick.
Yep, and the mistakes were found. So it's open source in its most
glitchy
open source way. It's glitchy. Yeah.
Right. It's a Silicon Valley way, right? Let's put it out there. It's a Tesla way. Let's put it out. It's not perfect, but let's put it out there, right?
Yeah, and they put it out because everybody else is putting out an open source minus OpenAI.
And it's the competition that drives it,
yeah,
which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good thing, which hopefully will lead to a safe environment.
Yeah, I could go on about that. So ChatGPT also said today, you can now rate GPTs, those GPT-like agents. You can provide those feedback directly to the builder, just like a review on Amazon or Google or anything like that, so they can improve it and make changes upon those reviews and feedback that they receive. So this is something that is just added, just another layer of improvements that they're making. So not in amazing or anything like that, just one of those extra things. We have a few more things here. Magic. AI coding startup Magic has apparently made a breakthrough in AI reasoning, similar to OpenAI's Q-Star. That could have been a major factor in their recent $100 million round from Nat Friedman, who's a former CEO of GitHub, and Daniel Gross. So they supposedly can do 3.5 million words of input. That's 5 times as fast as Gemini, that 1.5 just came out.
Wow.
5 times faster. You're getting to a place of unlimited input.
Yeah, all they need to do now is put it on Groq's chips.
Yeah, right? Seriously.
Right? Because they're talking about it's a language model, right? So it needs to run on the chip. And it's currently running on old school NVIDIA chips.
Yeah. And this just came out today as well. There is not much coverage on it just yet. It was one post that came through from theinformant.com, but really kind of another groundbreaking, just another thing this week. We just keep pushing the boundaries, and everybody's competing. It is certainly a race. Who's going to win? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's the machines are going to win and humanity's going to lose.
One thing for sure, this research, this technology is progressing extremely quickly.
It's
growing
quick.
Not just as software, but it's developing these new chips. And last week we talked about Altman looking for a $7 billion investment for a chip company.
And Gemini just came out last week. So a week later,
right.
things are out of date.
And look, this week is so many news based on the chip base. I learned about Groq with a Q, with their chip, and of course there was an NVIDIA announcement about chips a while ago, right?
Yeah.
NVIDIA is using AI to create the next generation chips.
Right.
So I have a question: Is Groq developing they're developing their own chip?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the thing about theirs, is they have an actual.
They're not just developing; they're producing it, right?
Yep.
Because they're already selling access to this thing.
Yes. Unlike other providers, they're not brokering a cloud service. They built their own chip compiler and software system, so it's a new process.
Yeah, they have a whole suite from cloud to actual physical hardware that they're selling.
Yeah.
From server racks to node components to card to in the whole ecosystem they call it in Groq Cloud. So you don't need to have you don't need to buy the actual software. You're kind of buying a subscription fee, but you could also buy their own hardware.
More to come.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to be learning more and more, and we're going to be hearing a lot more about Groq.
Keep going.
Because this is super exciting, the speed that we saw it.
Yeah.
What's cool about this new technology, we can not just talk about, but we can see it in... we can just go to their website, and whether it's Groq or ChatGPT, and see it.
In action.
Yeah. All right.
Wow. So with all that intensity, let's roll it back and enjoy some culture and society and AI, how it's all kinds of crazy. So we talked a little bit about Google Gemini. So yeah, today it got pulled.
And it got pulled. Do we want to get into it? Because it's trying to be progressive. So
you had one job, Gemini, and this was at least the image portion of it.
Let's see what the prompt was for that image.
Google's Gemini needs a little bit of an update on what it's training on.
Yeah.
They acknowledge the issue.
They acknowledge the issue, and they suspended the ability to generate Well, they suspended the ability of its generative AI to generate images. Yep. So they're put the images on hold. They're going to work out these glitches.
I'm sure you've seen, if you're on any social media platform, I'm sure it's kind of making its way through. And now we also have the first feature film, T2 Remake, or the spoof. So it was 50 AI artists worked together to create one, amazing video. And it's actually going to be coming out in March. And you'll be able to see it. So,
looks like you can see the trailer for this AI-created spoof of Terminator 2 right on X, and we'll post a link. And on X, it's T2 for Terminator 2 Remake on X.
Yeah.
And you can check out their trailer. They're putting together a full feature film that's going to be in the movie theaters and streaming. And we watched the trailer, and it's pretty cool. It looks it looks like a movie I want to watch.
Be on the look out for their live stream on March 9th. So it's certainly really interesting. It looks like AI, but I think they're kind of making fun of themselves and fun of AI.
And they're creating their little spoofy thing, and they're making fun of themselves, right?
Yeah.
And we see that in that trailer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool. So it's gonna be like a fun thing. Yeah.
This is the fun that comes out of AI. We're looking forward to it. So it's very enjoyable, and I'm sure it'll be a great hit. Google recently, they finally dropped their Bard name in favor of Gemini. So if anybody was thinking that, where's Bard? It's actually Gemini. Just as a heads up.
Right, Bard, when they were releasing it, that was built in right into Google, and now it's all Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. They're simplifying.
One of the things that OpenAI, somebody from OpenAI talked about Sora and why they didn't release it to the main public, and they very intentionally were not sharing it widely in the hopes that mini public demo kicks a social response into gear, which is interesting because that allows regulators and people to start the discussion on how we're going to regulate deep fakes, misinformation, things like that. So one of the things that this year is an election year that's going to be very prevalent. So they wanted to see what the reaction was in the community.
Let's talk about the Disney acquiring or
partnership.
So Disney and
Elevenlabs.
So they said we're thrilled to be part of 2024 Disney Accelerator. So Disney is getting into AI.
And Elevenlabs, if you don't know, does voiceover, very, very real voiceover.
Introducing Elevenlabs speech to speech.
Now you can record and transform
your voice into anyone
or anything you could
possibly imagine.
And they are the ones that actually own it, and so they're working with Disney.
Elevenlabs does human voice, or they do
human?
AI?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is it called? Voiceover?
Yeah, generative voice AI.
I'm an AI-generated voice. Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase.
There's a lot of things. So you can click on the language to change the audio. If you've never played with it, it's a lot of fun. You can. There's a limit. I think 333 characters. That is also what's going on. So I think we've covered quite a lot today, and as always, we have lots of more information, and next week and the week after that, we'll continue having all of the AI information that you'll ever need to know. Well, thank you so much for joining us again, for watching and listening. I'm John. You can always find me online or our social media online. Certainly search us on YouTube and Instagram. Well, we'll include the links down below. If you want to reach out to us, certainly reach out to us at neuralnetworknewsai@gmail.com.
Huge shout out to our sponsor, CozySolutions.com. They provide midterm rental housing in Orange County and San Diego. Beautiful, fully furnished apartments with high-speed internet. Very comfortable, very beautiful. If you use promo code NNN for Neural Network News, you'll get $99 off of your booking with them. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Yes.
Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.